Hello, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you for joining us for our Move to Panama Q&A live stream. This live stream is all about me answering your questions about moving to and living in Panama. Because I know many of you are snowbound right now or you're in chilly weather, I thought you would appreciate this nice little background, which is the San Carlos, Coronado, Gorgona area. So you can see what it looks like. Right now, it's a nice 85 degrees there. Might get down to 75 tonight, but that's about as cold as it gets in that area. So I'm giving you something to warm you up while you're watching this live stream. I have just a couple of announcements to make before I take your questions. One of the announcements that I have to make is please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. We have two new videos. We have one video that's coming out on Sunday that's all about living in the Playa Blanca area, which is a little bit west of the picture that you see right here. It has beautiful white sand. And it's super affordable. A couple is living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $1,000 a month for a furnished apartment. So you'll definitely want to see that video on Sunday. I'll send out an email about it on Sunday. The other announcement that I have is that new video. And also, we have a new tour opening for June the 27th through July the 4th. We were sold out, and we just started a new tour for June the 27th. It's already 50% sold out. So if you're interested in that tour, you can go to our website. It's an all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama relocation tour. There's more details about it on our website at panamarelocationtours.com. Just click on the Tours tab, and it's a group tour, so there'll be other people on the tour. We also offer private tours, and we have something called our online Panama relocation guide, which is like a home study course for how to move to Panama. It has everything you need to know to move to Panama. If you can't afford a tour or you're just not a tour kind of a person, then the online guide might be something that you would be interested in. So I also want to thank Debbie Clappett. It says Chuck and Debbie on there. In our chat room over on the side, but it's actually Debbie Clappa is our moderator today. So she's keeping an eye on all the messages that are coming up. They're rolling, the messages are rolling so fast. I know every single Saturday people just get together to hang out here on our live stream. So there's conversations going on over there that have nothing to do with a question, but that's okay too. We love it. We love the our little hangout that we have here every single Saturday. The way it's going to work for our Q&A, I can't just click on your name and mute you and put you on the screen with me. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to type your question into the chat window, and you have to put 3 question marks in front of it. 3 question marks in front of it so that I'll know it's a question, because there's a lot of other conversations that are going on over on the side, and I don't want to I don't want to click on any of those conversations. I'm only going to click on the ones that are questions. So your question can be anything about moving to Panama, living in Panama, getting a visa, getting your pets here, finding a house, what's the weather like, health insurance options. The only place where I'm going to draw the line is this conversation about President-elect Trump talking about gaining control of the Panama Canal. Anything to do with that is total speculation. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I have every confidence that Panama and Trump will work it out to everyone's benefit, including all the people that live here in Panama. But please don't ask any questions about that, because I don't know. Nobody knows the answer to that. And I would rather just leave politics completely out of our live stream conversation. I've got a tickle on my nose. Hold on. I think it's my hair. Okay, so if you have a question for me, put 3 question marks in front of it, and I'm going to pop it up on the screen, and then I'm going to answer it. I saw one, I think, right there. So Travis says, do we need the chicken nougat You don't need any vaccines at all before you come to Panama. If you're going to go hiking in the Darien jungle or someplace like that, then you might want to check the CDC recommendations for vaccines. But if you're not planning to go hiking in a dense jungle, you don't need it. And next question. Thank you for all your valuable help and information. You know, I'm glad to provide it. I wish I had something like this when I was moving to Panama, but I didn't. So I just had to figure things out. That's why I want to provide this service to you, absolutely free, the live streams. Can we apply for a pensionado visa while there, renting for 6 months on a tourist visa? Yeah, so if you want to apply for a visa while you're here, of course, you'll come in as a tourist. The best thing to do is contact an immigration attorney before you come to Panama and go ahead and work out an appointment on when you're going to be meeting with them. They'll give you a list of documents that you need to get, and it's different if you're a single person, married person, have minor children, so the documents you need will be different for each person, but they'll give you a list of documents. Remember, the documents can't be more than 6 months old when you apply for a visa. The best thing to do is to actually mail those documents to your attorney before you come, either DHL or FedEx, because all the documents that you send have to be translated into Spanish, and they'll probably have to be re-authenticated by the Ministry of Foreign Relations if you got them authenticated at the Panama consulate. By the way, everybody, the questions are rolling in pretty fast. If I don't get on your question, you might have to type it in a couple of times for me to notice it. If I don't get to your question during the live stream, you can always send an email to info, at panamarelocationtours.com. So our next question is from Woody. It says, can you please confirm that pensionado visa holders can leave for 2 years at a time and not just 1 year? That's absolutely true. Pensionado visa holders, if you have your permanent visa, you can leave for 2 years. You just have to come back for at least 1 day every 2 years. If you have your temporary visa, you need to come back within 6 months to get your permanent visa. Once you have your permanent visa, there's no requirement to live in Panama. You just have to come back every 2 years. Sonia says, we're planning to come on the September 5 through 12, taking the tour and then spending 5 days touring. Is it better to do a private tour or plan to do it ourselves? Well, Sonia, I can tell you that you can certainly do it by yourself, but you're going to learn a lot more in a short period of time if you take a private tour. Even if you're planning to be in an area like for 3 days, but you just do a 1 day private tour, you don't have to do a 3 day. If you just do a 1 day private tour, you're going to learn so much in that 1 day that it's going to benefit the other days that you're going to be in town. If one is going to get a friendly nation visa with buying an already established corporation, do you have to pay yourself $1,000 a month? Well, first of all, you cannot get the friendly nation visa by using an already established corporation. Those corporations won't work for the friendly nation visa. You have to get a brand new special kind of corporation for the friendly nation visa, and you do have to pay yourself at least $1,000 a month for the first 9 months, but you cannot use an already established corporation. And Yvonne says, if you get your permanent resident card, do you have to give up your U.S. citizenship? No, you don't. The citizenship and residency are two completely different things. When you get your permanent visa here in Panama, that gives you the right to live in Panama permanently or indefinitely. It has nothing to do with gaining Panama citizenship. You don't get citizenship, you only get the right to reside in Panama. So you're not going to be giving up your U.S. citizenship. Lisbeth says, what's the easiest way to get a work permit? Can you include a timeline and possible cost? Well, the easiest way to get a work permit is to make sure that you get a visa that allows you to get a work permit. If you get a pensionado visa, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to get a work permit. But if you get a friendly nation visa, then you can get your work permit. It all depends on which attorney you use. I would recommend, if you want to get a work permit, use an attorney in Panama City, we have a list of recommended immigration attorneys in our online Panama relocation guide. And these are the most affordable attorneys. They give a huge discount to our Panama relocation tour clients. So the online guide will pay for itself just with your savings with the attorney. But it still depends. I know some people that they got their work permit in 3 or 4 months. I know other people, they've been working on it for more than a year and they still don't have their work permit. So there's not just one right answer. It depends. Some of the questions just rolled off the screen. Sorry about that. Are you enjoying that view of the Pacific Ocean and the mountains and the Coronado, Gorgona, San Carlos area? I thought that might warm you up a little bit. Thank you for all your great help and knowledge and for pronouncing my name correctly. You're welcome, Yvonne. If retiring, what amount of money must I need to be able to show? So if you're getting the pensionado visa, then you need to show that you have at least $1,000 a month US dollars in lifetime income. If you're getting a different visa, then you need different amounts. But for pensionado visa, which is the retirement visa, you only need $1,000. Some other countries require $4,000 or $5,000 a month for you to be able to retire there. Panama is so much better. So Chris says, please summarize healthcare options, meds, pre-existing things, more than the basic health care. What would take, I need to do a complete and whole live stream about summarizing all of that. Basically, for Panama insurance, we have an article on our website. If you type in health insurance options, then we have an article that has a list of all the different health insurance options. We have a link to the brochure for them. The bottom line is if you're less than 75 years old, you can get Panama health insurance at most of the Panama insurance companies. If you have pre-existing conditions, they're going to be excluded. They won't cover them. Some insurance companies will cover pre-existing conditions. They'll exclude them for the first 2 years and then cover at 50% after that. Other one, if you have pre-existing conditions, especially diabetes, they're just going to say, we won't insure you. There's only one company in Panama City at Hospital Santa Fe that has no age restrictions for getting insurance, but they do exclude pre-existing conditions. For medications, almost none of the insurance companies cover medications. And which Panama consulate gives the quickest turnaround of authenticated documents? I'm flying with my cat and I'm very concerned about the 10-day window. So let me give you a little hint. The Houston and the Long Beach, Houston, Texas and Long Beach, California, maybe not Long Beach right now with all the fires going on there, but the Houston is really very fast. Like a one-day turnaround. The other thing, as far as your cat's documents, your state, Secretary of State, if you live in the capital city of your state, then the Secretary of State, they can also apostille those documents instead of you sending them to the Panama consulate. Not all states can do that, but many states can. So contact your Secretary of State for whatever state you live in and ask them if they can apostille your FBI report, your income verification, and the CAT documents. And that'll be super fast. What's the ballpark dollar amount to get your pensionado visa from beginning to end for 2 people? So ballpark figure is $1,600 to $2,000, depending on which attorney that you're going to use. That includes the temporary visa, the permanent visa, and probably your cedula also. Cedula is the national ID card. That's if you're using one of our immigration attorneys. If you use some other immigration attorney, I know people that have paid $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. But if you use the immigration attorneys we recommend in the online guide, your price will be $1,600, $2,000. Ralph says, is a physical from a Panama doctor required for pensionado visa? Yes, it is. Required. Your attorney will arrange for that. Sometimes you have to see a doctor. Sometimes they'll just ask you a couple of questions and then they'll give you the health certificate. So you don't even have to see the doctor. And PR says, is it possible to get the pensionado visa without using a lawyer? Not anymore. It's required in Panama that you use an immigration attorney, a Panama immigration attorney. Let's see, I just did that one. By the way, if you joined us a little bit late and you have a question for me, you need to type it into the chat window, and you must put 3 question marks in front of it for me to know that it's a question, because there's other conversations going on the side. My Social Security is now $860, and I have a rental property with $2,000 a month. Am I eligible for the pensionado visa? You're not eligible for the pensionado visa. Your rental income doesn't count towards your pensionado visa. However, if you only have $860 in Social Security, there is a couple of other ways and things that you can do to get up to the $1,000. If you buy real estate in Panama worth at least $100,000, then yes, you can buy a nice house for $100,000 in Panama. Then you only need to show $750 a month in lifetime income to qualify for the pensionado visa. Also, talk to your immigration attorney. You may be able to purchase an annuity that pays like a couple $100 a month. It has to be a lifetime annuity. So then you can combine the annuity with your Social Security, put them together to equal at least $1,000 a month. Dan and Joyce from Hawaii, thanks for being here. Are there options to hold a shipping container until we're ready to unload it somewhere while we're figuring out what we want to do? Yes, the international moving companies, they do have a warehouse in Panama City and in some other locations as well, where they can hold that shipping container until you know where you want it to go to. And someone put a QQQ instead of a question mark, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So the $1,000 is your net amount. It's the amount of money that's going to show up on your bank statement that was deposited into your bank account. It's not the gross, it's the net amount that you need to qualify. Beth says, I'm arriving March 6th. What is the mosquito situation in Boquete and surrounding areas? I'd be interested in natural repellent if needed. So, you know, I've lived in Boquete a really long time, and I've just never had encounters with mosquitoes in the places that I've lived. I'm sure in some places you might have. What I would suggest you do is there's a restaurant in Boquete, in Alto Boquete, it's in the San Francisco Plaza, and it's called the Garden Restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants. They have a natural insect repellent called Gruber's Jungle Oil. Buy a bottle of that. You know, when it used to be $10, I think it's like $15 now. It's the best natural insect repellent that you can possibly get. David said, as a retiree, do you recommend changing your state resident to a state that doesn't have income taxes prior to moving to Panama? So that all depends. You know, if you have to file a state income tax where you are and pay taxes, perhaps even inheritance taxes and other taxes, then you probably want to change your residency. But if you don't, if you live in a state where you don't have to file an annual tax return, they don't have an inheritance tax, they're not going to tax your pension, then maybe you don't need to. Pierre says, when renting, what is the typically expected of the landlord and the tenant in areas like building maintenance and lawn maintenance? So it depends if you're renting a condo, a high-rise like you see in this picture, or if you're renting a single-family home. The home that I'm renting is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with 2 large living areas, very large living areas. I pay $1,000 a month. It includes all the utilities, all the yard work, all the maintenance. So that's what's typically included. Deb says, I'll be on one of the tours in March. I take several over-the-counter supplements. Do they need to be in the original container? No, you can put one of those little pill organizer things. That'll be fine for you to bring supplements that way. Would I need a car in the Clayton area of Panama City? You really wouldn't need a car in the Clayton area. It's a very walkable area. Also, Uber and InDrive and taxis are readily available if you wanted to get into Panama City. What are the taxes in Panama? So there's a sales tax of 7% on most things. but edible things, there's no sales tax on that, but 7% tax at restaurants, 7% tax on a lot of things. We've already paid our in full for next month. Are we able to share the recommended lawyers before we come to get started? Yes, if you have a tour that's starting next month and you've already paid in full, then just send us an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours and we can give you our attorney recommendations. Is the hotel apartment allowing pets, specifically cats? Some of the hotel apartments allow pets, some of them don't. It's like everything in Panama. There's not just one right answer, unfortunately. Do you get a sense that given the demand for Panama that landlords are increasing cost of rents? I haven't really seen that. No. Now, I can tell you that rents, if you're just going to come here for 3 or 4 or 5 months or 6 months maybe, then you're going to pay a much higher rent than if you rent something for 12 months. So if you're a short-term renter, you're going to pay a higher rent. But if you rent for 1 year, then you're not. I see a lot of high-rise apartments. I assume a good fire service and building sprinklers are normal. Yes, they are normal and required for all of those things. They also will have generators. Joy says, once it's time to make the move, how do I avoid buying a round-trip plane ticket? So there's a couple of different ways to avoid that. If you have our online Panama relocation guide, we have a whole section called Onward Travel that explains the 2 ways. One of them is there's actually a thing called Onward Travel that you can go to, and you can buy Onward Travel ticket for $20 and show that. The other one is you could book, you could buy 1 ticket to come to Panama, buy another ticket to go back. The ticket to go back, you would buy just 24 hours before, but make it a refundable flight so that once you get through customs and immigration, you're at the airport, then you could cancel it. What is the process for getting a 6-month rental? Will owners ask for the same requirements as deposits? Yes, they're not, usually for a rental, they don't ask for credit reports. The most important thing for any rental in Panama, they want to see income verification. They want to, they want the deposit, a security deposit, first month's rent. Some will ask for last month's rent, but that's kind of rare. But the most important thing is income verification. So they want to see your Social Security, income verification, some W-2 forms, maybe some bank statements that shows that you can afford the rent. Someone asked a question, it's already rolled off the screen, if the online guide is included in a Panama relocation tour. It is. After you go on an all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama relocation tour, then you get free access to the online Panama relocation guide. You also get invited into our private Facebook community, which is a very active community with people that are already living here, sharing what it's like living here, and people that are thinking about moving here or ready to move here can ask questions, get answers just like that in our private group. Jimmy says, can you live in Panama for $1,000 if retired? You absolutely can live on $1,000 in some areas in Panama. You couldn't live in Panama City for $1,000. You couldn't, it'd be very hard to live in Boquete on $1,000. You couldn't live in Coronado on $1,000, but you could live in Chitre, you could live in Las Tablas, you could live in Volcan. There's a lot of places where you can live on $1,000. Shanna says, I'm older than the maximum age for medical insurance. Is it possible to self-insure? Do I need to buy an annuity to self-insure? You don't need to buy an annuity. There is a hospital in Panama City called Hospital Santa Fe. They have no age restrictions at all for medical insurance. Even if you're in your 90s, you can get insurance and it's affordable. But if you want to live in other places, you would just have to self-insure. If you're a U.S. citizen, you might consider getting Medicare Advantage because it would cover any urgent care or emergencies in Panama. And some of the hospitals you don't have to prepay. You just show your Medicare Advantage card and they do the billing for you. Is there much of an expat population in Volcan? There's quite a large expat population in Volcan. I've heard it's about 500. Some people have said it's as much as 800. I don't know what the right number is, but it's definitely growing. More people are moving there because it's so much more affordable than it is in Boquete, and it's not as crowded and congested as it is in Boquete. Luisa says, if you have a permanent or temporary residency visa, is it sufficient to carry the card, or do you still have to carry your passport? Until you get your cedula, which is your national ID card, you have to always have your passport with you. Once you get your cedula, you can put your visa cards away and just show your cedula. The cedula is a national ID card. Even Panamanians, once they turn 18, they have to get a cedula. Foreigners get one. It has a big E on it, that you're an immigrant, but it's the same card. Just a second. You previously mentioned that if you were working on a new health insurance program that covers pre-existing conditions, that's still going to happen. We'll have an announcement about that should be in March. How long does it take to get to the beach from Volcan? So if you went to, there's a couple of different beaches you could go to. You could go to the beach that's called La Barqueta, that's just by David, and that's going to take about an hour and 15 minutes from Volcan. It's not very far. There's also a beach area in Puerto Anguillas, which is an area I wouldn't really recommend, but it would also be about an hour and a half from Volcan. So you're not that far from a beach. I think I saw that Volcan has a new library. Do you know if it's similar to the beautiful look in Boquete? They have a new library. I'm not sure if it's open yet, but they do have a new library, but it's nothing like the one in Boquete. Dave says, can you please give a brief explanation of what a hotel apartment is? So a hotel apartment is an apartment that's inside of a hotel. So it's a full service, it could be a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, fully furnished, pots and pans, dishes, and it's all inclusive. So utilities included, electricity, internet. Most of them include maid service. Some of them even have breakfast buffet that you can go to, or they'll bring breakfast to your room. So an apartment hotel is a great way to transition into living in Panama, because you just walk in, bring your suitcase and your toothbrush and move right in. You don't have to make any utility connections. How long is the tourist visa or length of stay? So this is a little secret that a lot of people don't know. There is no such thing as a tourist visa. There's no visa for tourists. What it is when you come into Panama, they're going to put a stamp in your passport that says you entered Panama. At that point, you are a tourist. If you're from North America, you're allowed to stay for 180 days, and then you have to leave Panama after the 180 days. The catch is that if you want to drive a vehicle, if you want to rent a car, you can only do that for the first 90 days that you're in Panama. Are electronics and furniture more expensive than the United States? Honestly, I haven't shopped for electronics or furniture in the United States for about 15 or 20 years. So I have no idea what the prices are like in the United States. So I don't know if it's more expensive or less expensive. I just know that the prices seem very reasonable. I bought a sofa and a love seat, the kind that reclines and everything, at a place called Furniture City. It's the Ashley Furniture. And I asked if they offered a jubilado discount, even though they're not required to. So they did. And I got both of them for $1,600. Is that a good price? I don't know. Compared to the United States, I have no idea. I also got free delivery just for asking. As a registered nurse from Panama, do you have many North American nurses working in Boquete? So nursing is a protected profession in Panama. Nurses, doctors, lawyers, there's about 135 professions that are protected that only a Panamanian can do in Panama. So you would not be able to work as a nurse in Panama. Oh, clicked on the wrong one. For parents with children, does Panama have programs for children with special needs? People have asked me that before, and they have very, very, very limited programs for children with special needs, and only in certain areas. Oh, not a question. Do you have any insight about buying a pre-built condo? So if you don't want to do anything pre-construction in Panama. The number one way that people lose a lot of money in Panama is buying pre-construction anything. You don't want to buy anything unless it's already built. I saw the other day someone put down a deposit in 2023 on a pre-construction. It was supposed to be delivered to her on January the 6th of 2025. They haven't even broke ground yet. They're refusing to return her money. She's going to have to pay big bucks for an attorney to try to get her money back, and she'll probably never ever get it. And I hear that story over and over and over again. Don't do pre-construction. By the way, if you have a question for me, you're going to have to type 3 question marks in front of it. Otherwise, I won't know that it's a question. I'll think it's just a conversation going on over on the side. So Bess wants to know, when I arrive in March, I'd like to register my Medicare Advantage insurance at Hospital Cherokee. Is this the correct hospital, and is there a first floor? So yes, Bess, you can register your Medicare Advantage at Hospital Cherokee in David. You go to the first floor, look for the sign that says International Insurance, and Jayka, D-E-Y-K-A, is the manager that works there. She can help you with that. She speaks perfect English. Is a bus driver a protected job in Panama? So in a way it is, because you'll need a special license for that, and you have to get that license. If you have a license as a bus driver from another country, it's not going to transcend over here. So you're going to have to start all over again, getting the appropriate license to be able to drive a bus. The other thing is you'll need to be fully bilingual for you to be able to drive that bus. They're not going to hire someone that doesn't know Spanish fluently. Jane says, I'm going on a tour June 20th and would like to be in Panama by December 1st. Is there a plan quicker than 6 months to move to Panama? There is a plan much faster than 6 months to move to Panama. Many people, they came on our tour, they decided, yep, it's going to work, I like it. They went home, they got all their documents. Within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, they were back in Panama with their documents in hand, looking for a place to move to. So you don't have to wait 6 months. If you come on the tour in June, by July, you could be moving back. You could even already have all your documents together and bring them with you to get the visa right after the tour. You might decide to not go back, if you've already sold everything and gotten rid of things. How can I book a private tour in Panama City? So to book a private tour in Panama City, go to our website at panamarelocationtours.com. There's a tours tab at the very top. Look at the drop-down menu where it says private tours, and then that's going to tell you how to book a private tour. We have 3 really good private tour guides in Panama City. Are there any freestanding hospices for palliative care in Boquete? There is something called Boquete Health and Hospice. I think it's .org, so you can look at that. Usually they go to your home, but there are 2 home health care, assisted living places that sometimes people go there for their hospice care. But there's not a freestanding place that says this is where hospice is. Can you apply with only the benefits letter for Social Security? Do you have to have a bank statement showing the deposit? You have to have a bank statement showing the deposit that you've already received at least one payment of your Social Security for you to be able to apply. And Dan wants to know, what would be the best visa path for remote worker that is employed by a U.S. company? So the very best path is it's a special friendly nation visa. If you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours, in the upper right-hand corner, type in 4 ways to get a friendly nation visa. Option number 4 is the one that you want. You'll set up a special corporation that's going to issue you a labor contract, and then you'll get it really fast in about 10 days. And that's the best way. By the way, you'll be able to qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion by living in Panama full-time, so you can deduct $130,000 per year of your income from that. You don't have to pay taxes on that. You get a raise when you move to Panama. Pretty good deal, huh? Rich says, what are the rules for bringing dogs into Panama? We have a complete article about bringing your pets on our website. Just search for bringing pets to Panama. It's a very time-sensitive process. You have to get the vaccines 30 days before, then 10 days before you're bringing them on the plane. You have to get an international health certificate. It has to be authenticated by the Agriculture Department, USDA, if you're in the U.S., and then that has to be authenticated again by the Panama Consulate. Are there nursing homes in Panama? There are nursing homes. I did a really extensive article about it on our website. Search assisted living, and you'll see that there's some private and there's a lot of government-run nursing homes in Panama. The government-run are as low as $600 a month for a shared room, includes all your meals, medical care, and everything. Can I bring all my medications, including, I think you need to retype it and finish the rest of the sentence. Can a pensionado visa holder transfer money out of the required direct deposited Panama bank into a foreign bank at will? So when you get a pensionado visa, there's absolutely no requirement to have a Panama bank account. It's not required. So you can just leave your money in whatever country that you're in. You can move money. I move money from my Panama bank to banks in other countries with no problems at all. But with the pensionado visa, there's no requirement to have a bank account. If you want one, you can get one, but you don't have to. Is the WISE app good from U.S. to Panama transfers, and how long does it take for small sums? So I personally have never used WISE. I just do my bank transfers from my U.S. bank to my Panama bank directly. It does cost about $45 to do that, and I know I could save money if I used WISE or something like that, but I like to just have as few third-party companies involved in my bank transfers. Mike wants to know, what's a good walking neighborhood in Panama City with rent of about $1,500? So there's many, many, many neighborhoods that are good walking neighborhoods. One is San Francisco. It's also by Parque Omar, which is a beautiful park that has a path all the way around it, but it's a great area. We've also, El Cangrejo is another area. There's restaurants, grocery stores, a lot of things along Via Argentina. Also, there's just so many. Via Vista is another one. If you look at some of our YouTube videos with interviews that we've done that people that live in Panama City, they talk about what neighborhood they live in and what the amenities are like there and how walkable it is. So check out some of our other videos. By the way, everybody, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of new videos coming out for you, including one on Sunday that's about living in Playa Blanca, which is super affordable beach community a little bit west of Coronado. We're interviewing a lady that's renting a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all furnished for $1,000 a month. She has ocean views and mountain views on only $1,000 a month. So it's a super affordable community. You don't want to miss that video on Sunday. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to know when we put out new videos. We've got several more that we've already done the shooting for. We're just working on the editing part right now. Jane wants to know, what documents do I need for pensionado visa? I would like to bring the paperwork with me in June. The docs need to be authenticated. So if it's just you, yourself, and nobody else, there's 2 documents you're going to need. You're going to need income verification. If you are a U.S. citizen, get Social Security or a pension from a job, you're going to need proof of your income. The other thing you're going to need is a national criminal report. So Canadians, that would be RCMP, or U.S. citizens would be an FBI report. If you're U.S. citizens, you can get your documents. The quickest way is to get your documents authenticated at the Panama consulate. It doesn't have to be one that you drive to. You can just mail in the documents and include a self-addressed envelope for it to come back to you. However, if you're Canadian, it's required that your documents are notarized first, and then they have to be apostilled in the province where you live. We have a list in the online guide of all the different provinces and where you go and who to call about getting your documents authenticated or apostilled. Is there a concern in Panama about wildfires, especially in light of the droughts? There's not, because we get so much rain. So even though the surface might be a little bit dry during the dry season only lasts for about 3 months. And even though we're in the dry season right now, I don't think we've had a single day that it hasn't rained in the dry season. So it's not like, we get 200 inches of rain in Boquete. I think the area that had the wildfires in California, they get like 30 inches of rain a year. So there's a big, big difference in how much moisture is in the ground. So Lisbeth says, where can we stay to show our residency when we get our visa if we're staying at an Airbnb? So if you're staying at an Airbnb or even a hotel, you can get a receipt from the hotel that says they're staying here for 1 week to get their visa, and that will suffice for you to get your visa. Same thing with an Airbnb. You can get the receipt that you're staying at the Airbnb, and then that will work. And the reason she's asking that question is there are certain documents that you get whenever you're going to get a visa. There are certain documents you have to get in your country that you bring to Panama to get a visa. But there's other documents that have to be obtained in Panama for you to get a visa. For example, the health certificate is one. You have to show a lease, but it can just be a lease a hotel for 1 week. So that's something that you get in Panama. And is there a concern about the trash in Panama? No, it's less and less and less every single year. There's certain parts of Panama City, San Miguelito, that seems to have a problem all the time. But other parts, you just don't see it. It's not a problem. And Diane says, we're coming in May for private tours with Mari. Are any of the lawyers in the guide located near Boquete? So we have some lawyers that are in David, but their wife has a business in Boquete and they actually live in Boquete. So even though their office is in David, he can meet with you in Boquete. Maury knows who it is and she can arrange that for you. Which side of a valle loses power more often? I don't know. I know whenever I lived in a valle for a couple of months, I was on the side close to where Golden Frog Inn was, and my power was out often. But I know people that live on the other side, and they also have power outages. There's a Facebook group called the Valle Community or something like that, and if you follow that, you'll see often, several times a week, they're talking about power's out, internet's out, water pressure's low. So follow that and you'll see what I'm talking about. How many people are typically on a group tour? So we usually have about, we have a 40 passenger bus, a huge 40 passenger bus, and we usually have 25, maybe 30 people on the tour. So there's still plenty of room to roll your seat back and relax and let our professional driver take care of all the driving. What's the process for buying a car in Panama and or financing? There's several different ways. You can just go to a new car dealership and you can buy a brand new car from a dealership there, and they'll take care of the paperwork. Financing is not done by the dealership. You have to go to a bank to try to get financing, and I don't know what the process is. I don't know anybody that's gotten financing to buy a car. If you're going to be buying a used car, we recommend using a car broker. We have recommendations of several car brokers in our online Panama relocation guide. You basically tell them how much you want to spend, if you want diesel or regular gas, if you want a manual transmission or automatic transmission, SUV, not an SUV, give them some requirements. And then usually within 24 hours, 48 hours at the most, they'll say, well, I've got this one, or this one. And then you can go test drive those. They'll get them inspected by a mechanic to make sure it's mechanically sound. And then you pick out the one you want, and they take care of all the paperwork for you. I just did that one. So joined late, not sure if this question's been asked, but are there any local concerns about the U.S. intervention in the Panama Canal? There's no concerns at all in Panama. Nobody's talking about it. And one of the things I announced at the beginning of the live stream is we'd like to leave politics out of the conversation. Anything, there's no vocal concerns about it, and anything about what's going to happen would be pure speculation, and I don't like to speculate. Jackie, the new Boquete Hospital video spokesperson stated they'll be able to process. That is not true. The person that did that video, I know who he did, and that information is absolutely false. It's going to be a public hospital in Boquete, and they don't accept Medicare, they don't accept insurance of any kind. So it's unfortunate that he put out a video with a bunch of false information. If we get documents apostilled, do they need to be redone in Panama? If you get your documents apostilled, then they do not have to be re-authenticated by the Ministry of Foreign Relations in Panama. Please define lifetime income. Lifetime income is going to be income that you receive for the rest of your life until you die. Is all foreign passive income non-taxable in Panama? So in Panama, you don't pay taxes on any of your income unless you sell products or services in Panama. Then you're going to have to pay taxes in Panama. But any money that you make outside of Panama, you don't pay any taxes on it at all. Panama has, excuse me a second. So Panama has what's called a territorial taxing system, which means they only tax if you sell something here in Panama. I'm an Army retiree, and my wife and I are considering applying for a pensionado visa. I'm 52, she's 49. We plan to rely on Army retirement pension and VA benefits. Are we eligible? So long as your Army retirement is at least $1,250, then you would definitely qualify. However, for VA benefits, there is no VA hospital here in Panama, so you wouldn't be able to do that. We have an article, a recent article, about veterans' medical benefits in Panama. If you have TRICARE, that's accepted, or TRICARE for Life, that's accepted at some of the hospitals here in Panama. If you have any disabilities, then the Foreign Medical Program, which only covers service-connected disabilities, that's accepted at many hospitals in Panama. But as far as VA benefits, medical benefits, we don't have a VA hospital here. How much does it cost for private tours? Private tours are about $200 a day for up to 2 people, and that includes all your transportation and lunch. Dan wants to know, does an American green card holder have to get a criminal background check from the FBI or their country of citizenship? You need to get it from the country that you've lived in for at least the last 5 years. If you have only lived in the U.S. or for the 2 years, you need one from the FBI and from your country of citizenship as well, or wherever you lived previously. Could we donate books also in non-English languages to the Boquete Library one day? Yes, the Boquete Library does have a section for English language books, and they love donations. And there's also something called the Handicap Foundation here in Boquete. It's a little blue building south in Alto Boquete across from Chopsticks Chinese restaurant, and they like books too. That you can donate to them. They resell them, and that money is used to help buy things for handicapped children, like wheelchairs or walkers or other things that handicapped people need. So keep that in mind for donations as well. Books, clothes, furniture, all kinds of things they'll take. How do you pay your rent to your landlord? Cash, direct deposit, their account? So the way I pay my rent is I have a Panama bank account, and in Panama it's very common for your landlord and other people to just give you their bank account number. So I move money from my Panama bank account number to my landlord's Panama bank account number. And my receipt is in my bank statement. How can I find special interest groups in Panama City, ukulele players, for example? So what I would suggest you do is go on some of the Facebook groups and ask if there's any ukulele players. I haven't heard of that, but I haven't looked for it. So just ask on some different Facebook groups. Denny says, if you became a Panamanian citizen after 5 years, would we be paying taxes there on our Social Security? So even if you become a Panamanian citizen, you're only going to be paying taxes on any money that you make selling products or services in Panama. Any money that you make outside of Panama, even if you're a Panamanian citizen, you would know taxes on it. Do you have things like Adopt a Highway in Panama? Nope, I haven't seen that. I already did that one. Can credit cards be used in Panama? MasterCard and Visa can be used in Panama, but their credit cards like American Express or Discover, there's not too many places will take them. Can I walk into any PRT recommended bank and open an account without a fixer? So all of the banks that we recommend, there's usually going to be at least one person there that speaks English. So you don't need a fixer, you need a translator. They may tell you to, come back at 2 o'clock, and the person that you need to help you with your account can help you. So you don't have to take someone with you. They almost always have someone there that speaks English. Debbie wants to know, I want to pay the landlord from my Benismo account, but I can't understand how to do a soft token. Is that something you can explain to me in an email? I can't really explain it to you in an email, Debbie, but let me tell you the best way to do it. You're going to have to get the soft token by putting the Benismo app on your phone. So if you go to Google Play, if you have an Android, and get the Benismo app, and then what you need to do is call the customer service number that's at the bottom of their website. I think it should press 2 for English, and they'll get someone on in English to explain to you how to create that soft token. Is there a synagogue in Boquete or David? I know that there's a lot of Jewish people that are in Boquete, and I don't know if there's an actual synagogue, but I know they do get together and have their services here. Can you work in Panama? That's a good question. Foreigners cannot work in Panama unless they have a work permit. You can't get a work permit until you have your permanent visa. Some visas won't allow you to get a work permit. The other thing you have to be careful of is that there are some professions that are restricted for Panamanians only. And the other thing to be aware of is that minimum wage here is like $2.40 an hour. So wages are going to be pretty low. We do have an article called Getting a Job in Panama on our website that recommends if you need to work in Panama, if you want to get a job in Panama, best thing to do is move to Panama City and try to get a job with a multinational company because they pay much more than other countries, than other companies. I know someone making $100,000, another person making $150,000 a year working for a multinational company. Some multinational companies are going to require that you're bilingual. Some of those jobs will not require that you're bilingual. Call center jobs, they want English speakers. So check out our article about getting a job in Panama. So Kevin says, thank you for all your help. You're welcome, Kevin. I'm glad to answer everybody's questions. It's a really big decision to move to Panama, and it helps to get answers. Even if you just watch this live stream and you don't actually ask a question, you're going to learn from other people's questions about things here in Panama, things that you didn't even think about because you don't know what you don't know here in Panama. I know that there were a lot of questions that I did not get to tonight, and I'm sorry about that. They were rolling off the screen faster than I could get to them. But if I didn't get to your question, all you have to do is send an email to me and I will answer it. My email is info, I-N-F-O, at PanamaRelocationTours.com. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our newsletter and on our website. And you'll get 15 free lessons about moving to and living in Panama. You'll learn about banking. You'll learn about health insurance options. You'll learn about getting your pet here. So that's on our website, absolutely free. Just put in your email and you'll be on our newsletter. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel to get information about upcoming videos. I hope you've all learned something new. I hope you've enjoyed our beach scene right behind us. This is the Coronado, Gargona, San Carlos area in Panama. That's just a little bit west of Panama City, about an hour and a half west of Panama City. Also, you can see on Sunday, we have a new video coming out about another beach community called Playa Blanca. And it's a very affordable beach community that has tons of social activities. So you don't want to miss that video coming out on Sunday. I'll send an email on Sunday as soon as it's ready. But if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll know as soon as I upload it that it's available. So I want to thank everybody so much for joining us on the live stream. I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to send me an email if I didn't get to your question. I'll answer it then. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye, everybody.